Welcome to this week's episode of the Gymwright Facebook Live podcast. I am here, your host, Marcus Gursey, and I'm here with the one and only lovely Missy Henry. Hey, Missy.
Hello, guys. How's it going?
So good to have you on the show. Missy is, how can I say this? I mean, she wears many hats. She's founder and owner of Edge Body Bootcamp in Omaha. A gym that absolutely smashes. She is a Gymwright Business Coach. She's a mom. She's a wife. She's just all around awesome. And excited to have you on the show, Missy, because today we're going to talk about, I know, one of your favorite subjects.
Yes.
The topic being how to benefit our members and grow our community through content. And I know this is something that you have done brilliantly with your gym, but also something that you have applied successfully with many, many of our clients. So I'm excited to dig in with you.
Yeah, I'm super excited. I'm a talker, so content is naturally one of my favorite things. And so I'm super excited to be here. So thanks for having me.
No doubt. And before we dig into it too, a little bit more about Missy, because a lot of people don't know this, even some of the people that she works with. So not only is she, founder of her gym and Gymwright Business Coach, but prior to crushing it in this business game, she's a member at the Department of Health, Physical Education, and Recreation at the University of Nebraska, Omaha. And I think you were teaching undergraduate exercise science courses. Is that right?
Yep. I was a full-time faculty member, so full-time teaching, no research responsibilities. So that means that I taught 8 to 9 classes a semester. Few kind of / grad classes thrown in there, but yeah, mostly undergraduate activity classes and lecture classes. So.
Awesome. So kind of a badass. Right on, Missy. So let's jump right in. So let's start with why a gym owner should care about this. What are your thoughts as to why this is so important?
So I think at this point, like, we've all noticed that, okay, video content in general is where it's at with social media and stuff like that. That, people are watching videos without sound. They're watching videos on Instagram. That's how, people are paying attention to different things, which is why there's like Instagram celebrities and stuff like that. But it's much more than just putting content out there. And so why I think most of the gym owners out there should really care is because that's really your first introduction to anybody that walks into the gym. And so this is how you can kind of project who you are as a coach, the community, the philosophy of your gym, to really attract the people that you want anyway. Because when you're projecting like your authentic voice, then the people that are coming in are already bought into you. And it's just another platform to engage the members you already have. So then you don't have, those months or weeks where it's like, man, like, class attendance is really low and stuff like that. So it's a win-win when you do this correctly. And there's no better thing in the world than when somebody walks in and they're like, I felt like I already knew you. I've been watching your videos for months. Like, you're the reason I finally pulled the trigger. And so that's one of my favorite things to talk about. So
awesome. Yeah, it is. Oftentimes people think, content is just this thing like, oh, I know I need to be posting daily. I need to put something up every day. And it's like, you can look at it that simply, but really it's an opportunity to build relationships with people prior to them even showing up, which, like you said, helps the sales process dramatically, because they show up and they're like, I feel like I already know you. They've already kind of made a decision in their head that this feels good to me. Yeah. And that is a huge contributor to how that conversation, that relationship is going to begin. Because remember, at the end of the day, guys, we are in the relationship business first. And you want people who are attracted to you and your team and your style and your community, because they're going to integrate the best. They're going to they're going to integrate faster. They're going to stick around longer. They're more likely then to be, because they're bought in on a deeper level, on a more personal level too. They're going to be more likely to bring in friends and family. And this is also, if you look at not just the sales process, but to kind of zoom back out, this is also where you're able to engage existing member base. And when they're engaging with your social media regularly, it's not like you put something up and no one comments, no one likes, no one's engaging. That doesn't exactly look great either. And so this is a way to engage with them, while also, again, when they're engaging, it's going to be visible to their circle of influence online. So Good stuff. All right. So another thing I think this is important to help address or to help you accomplish is in identifying your authentic voice.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about your philosophy on that.
Yeah. So, you know, and kind of piggybacking on some of the things that you just said, that, oh, you know, I know I need to post daily. I know I need to put things up there so my business page looks active, you know, stuff like that. But even people that are posting actively or frequently, I see a lot of shared content, meaning, you know, they're going out to other experts in the field and, you know, sharing stuff from Mobility WOD or sharing stuff from some of the famous like powerlifters of the world, or, you know, sharing a video of Maddie Rogers, like doing her pause snatches and like stuff like that, which is great. And, but the problem is that there's nothing there that's showcasing them, as a coach, their business, their community, and stuff like that. And so with finding your authentic voice, this is really like the way that you're going to differentiate from any of the competition and focus on you. Because we all know you're not going to be the best fit for everyone. You know, you're not going to be training, you know, all walks of life, all decades, all injury limitations, you know, all goals. You know, everyone's kind of got their own unique niche, whether it is, you know, in the CrossFit space or the strength and conditioning space. Everyone is naturally good at like a couple things, or just, you know, the way that they are as a person or their unique philosophy. And so identifying that is the first step to really figuring out who you want to portray in the social media world and what you want to put out there. So then you're actually getting those people that want that. And then they're finding you because it's differentiating you from all the noise that's out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Really important to note, guys, that this is a huge way to differentiate yourself in, you know, a constantly increasingly competitive market. You know, people are lots of ads, lots of content. And if you're just really feel unique, people can tell you're being authentic, it goes a really long way. So really great way to stand out. All right. So let's get down to brass tacks here. First step, I know you said you already kind of gave that away with identify your authentic voice, but how can someone go about doing this?
Yeah. And the same thing with like some of my clients. Some people are like, oh God, I don't know what I value in culture, or like, well, I don't know. I like to work out. That's why I opened a gym. It's really digging even a little bit deeper with yourself first and really getting at, why did you open this gym? So hopefully, you know, we're all here because the root of that is we wanted to help people, but there's a reason, like there's a reason inside all of us that kind of gave us that calling to fitness and health, to strength and conditioning, to CrossFit, whatever it may be. And so it's really identifying like what that passion reason is for you, much like you would dig into a prospect coming in and their goals, like trying to find emotion. It's having a moment with yourself and digging in your own emotion. Why did you really want to do this? And then after you get that answer, it's figuring out, okay, so who can benefit from that? Who is directly going to connect with that and learn, and like, who am I going to be able to help because of those reasons that keep me here pushing day after day? Then you can really start to identify maybe some subpopulations within the whole grand scheme of things. So then you know who you're really targeting as your ideal client.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Yeah. So questions you can ask yourself, you know, what's the reason you open your gym? Who can benefit from this? Who are you trying to reach? Mm-hmm. And then what do you value as a gym culture, right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. What do you know, if you envisioned, you know, a perfect day 3 years in the future where you just walk out into your gym and say there's a class going on, what does that look like? Is it, you know, people high-fiving and laughing? Is it the coach making, you know, jokes as they go through some mobility stuff? Or maybe it's a little tighter ship. Maybe it's a little bit more technical based. Maybe it's a community where, you know, members value real technical language and it's a little bit more of that competitive athlete drive. You know, whatever the answer is, there's not a wrong answer. It's you staying true to you and answering some of these questions, and then maybe really understanding like, wow, I think I've been trying to gather too many people from all walks of life. And maybe I really need to stay true to what I really want to do and value in that culture, and then pull from those people. I know sometimes with clients or, friends and colleagues in the industry too, you do in the beginning, you feel like you don't want to turn anybody away, or
Sure.
Everybody that comes in, you're like convincing them that your gym is going to be perfect for them, when sometimes it's just not what they're looking for. Maybe they need an Orange Theory, or, maybe they need, straight, aerobics classes for a while, because that's where they're at. And that's okay. So answering some of these questions when you're speaking from your authentic voice, it is so much easier to be like, hey, you know what? Maybe this isn't like super like great for what you're looking for, but I would love to give you a referral somewhere else. And then the beauty of that is that that you're really putting out there what you want, because you will have fewer and fewer and fewer of those conversations, because now 9 out of 10 people that come in are like, yes, this is exactly what I was looking for. I found you online. Like, I could not wait to come into this. Let's do this. And then then the sky's the limit after that.
Right. Because at the end of the day, we want to build a community of like-minded people who get along, people who want to be there, people who, we as owners and as coaches actually can and want to serve every day. Who wants to show up to a class where you're like, none of these people, believe in what I'm doing. They don't get it, or they're just not my type. And unfortunately, that's what a lot of people market, just because they're, using whatever tactic they Googled or heard on, wherever, or from a buddy, or just see someone else do. And sure, you may be getting people in the door, but they're not the right fit. And at the end of the day, all that means is you may have been a good salesman, and you may be a really good, providing a great class experience. So they may stick around for a few months, but at the end of the day, it doesn't line up. And now you're going to have attrition, increased churn, because of this. And, that's no bueno for anyone. So really this allows us to, attract the right kind of people, makes the sales process easier. And then we integrate them in, and they feel like they're home. Right.
And I know we've had a conversation too before where it's, and unfortunately I know I've had conversations, with some of the Gymwright clients where it's, part of our calls are, hey, can you help me like figure out how to disseminate drama that I have going on, or, issues with, members, or, other coaches and stuff like that for some of the same reasons. And it's also sticking true to that authentic voice, and helps with the scarcity mindset that, everybody that walks in doesn't need to sign up with you. And like, once you kind of like let that go a little bit and know that I'm doing something awesome here, because this is my focus. And you know what? Somebody may not get it yet, and that's totally cool. That's also how you can help. And I see that especially with some CrossFit box owners too, is that, they're bought in. CrossFit is their jam. Like, CrossFit changed their life, and that's awesome. But not everybody's ready, or like not everybody cares yet. And so that's a huge thing for behavior change stuff, is that if somebody's not ready to care yet, you can throw like all your salesman tactics at them and maybe convert them, but likely it's going to come back to bite you in the butt like a couple months later, when you're starting to see that attrition and they kind of fall off. And then if that's your tactics all the time, that's when maybe you're starting to see those double digits attrition every month, and you find yourself like, well, we did good, but we lost almost about the same amount of people. And that is just mental warfare for yourself as a gym owner.
Yeah, it is. That's a nasty cycle to get in. And I'm going to jump to just a quick question here. I'm jumping ahead. And those of you who have questions, go ahead and start putting them in, just because there's a little bit of a delay oftentimes. But Christina just put up a really good question. It pertains to what we just talked about, which says, so how does this philosophy intersect with those of us who leverage programs like a New You 6-week challenge? Well, Christina, things like the New You Challenge are a really great way to get butts in seats, to get people in there, to get exposure. But at the end of the day, that is probably the biggest rub or the biggest downside to running a program like that is that program has nothing to do with your unique voice. All it's going to do is find people who maybe want to lose weight or get into shape, which obviously is what we do in our gyms, but you're not filtering these people based on your style or your voice or your personality or your specific skill set that you guys have mastered at your gym and what your focuses are and all of that. That's really where in that 6-week challenge, you have to take it upon yourself to show that authentic voice and not just bullshit people through the 6 weeks and at the end hope that you can convert them, when really that should be the filtering process. I look at it as, okay, now you've got 50 more people in the door than maybe you would have before, which is awesome. Lots more exposure, opportunity. And as long as you go into it with the mindset of, okay, I know that a good chunk of these people just aren't going to be a good fit, but I'm going to do my best to make sure that everyone has the opportunity to truly get to know us and what we're about and how we can help them uniquely. And that way they can make the best decision possible. I think really that's the way, at least that's the way I would look at it. Missy, do you have anything else to add to that?
And I mean, echoing, all the things that you just said as well, because every one of us has used something like that, whether it was Groupon or a challenge maybe that we ran ourselves or something like that, in those early stages, because you need butts in the seats. And every decision you make should be dictated on the situation you're in. We can't all start off with the gold standard stuff right away. But I think, like I said, echoing some of the things that you said, there's still a person that's looking for change, and you are going to treat them like the rock star that they are and give them the most fabulous service that you could possibly give them while staying true to your authentic voice. And I think that's where a lot of gyms go wrong, is that people sometimes really do feel like they're in a trial period or they're like in a tester period and they're not a part of something yet. And anybody that walks through their door should be a part of your family, should be getting the coach on their A game on a Monday in the busiest class. And that comes to always remembering like that passion deep down, and then echoing that with your coaches as well. Because the people coming in for challenges, there's going to be some bargain shoppers there that maybe have no intention of sticking around. And there's going to be people too that do 2 classes and are like, oh shit, this is really hard. And I don't know if I'm ready for this. And that's okay. And you may never see them again, but guaranteed you have a amazing opportunity, like you just said, Marcus, with staying true to that authentic voice, to show somebody like what can happen when they're a part of something like that. And so make them feel like rock stars, make them feel like they really do. They maybe stumbled upon a support system for their goals that they didn't even know existed. Right. So
yeah, that's when it comes to these challenges or any sort of like deals or low barrier offers, which a lot of people will really, kind of talk poorly about. And, I've tried that. It was a nightmare. It almost ruined my business. Well, that's because you screwed up. I hate to tell you, I have seen many, many people take advantage of those and make the most of it, because you just understand it's the cost of doing business, of saying, look, I know I'm going to get a lot more people in my doors. That means by default using something more generic, which means I'm not going to have the chance to filter them down like I normally would. They didn't come specifically looking for exactly what I'm doing because of my style and my voice. They followed an ad, they got here, but it's an opportunity to treat every person for the individual. Like you said, like you said it beautifully, the rock star that they are. Because frankly, guys, we're in this to help people. So treat people accordingly. Just because they came in on a deal does not mean that you need to now treat them less and you get less attention until you're a paying client. You are shooting yourself in the foot. You are showing that person, I don't really care about you until you pay me full tilt. You're in the wrong business.
Yeah.
Sorry. Like you got to get your head out of your ass a little bit and be thankful that someone is in your doors who needs help, that you can probably help at least quite a bit. And at least show a really good experience to. And even if they don't sign up, they may know someone who's like, you know what? I went and tried this place out. It wasn't for me, but dude, I think you would love it. Well, if you get referrals from someone who tried you, who didn't sign up, you're doing it right. All right. So anyway, sorry, I digress. So let's go back here. So step 1, identify your authentic voice. Step two, I think, is identify what your ideal client cares about.
Yes. And this question. I go round and around with this, with some people like getting the concept. And I did CrossFit for years. I coach CrossFit, and oftentimes, as a coach, as like when you get more to like elite level things, or you're super athletic and that's the only world that you've known, it tends to be about, well, I'm the owner, like I'm going to put content out there that they need to hear, that it's going to help them, it's going to do those things. And all I hear as a coach to some of these gym owners is I know that they need this. I want to give them this. I want to show them this. And bottom line, like, you are having people come in the door that are like, hey, I read this magazine article. Is it okay that I still eat eggs? And you're like, we haven't even mastered bodyweight squats yet. Like, we got bigger fish to fry. And they're like, yeah. Okay, I get it. But like eggs, can I eat those? What about whey protein? Do you have like 30 minutes that we can just like sit, and before you know it, you're in this rabbit hole of like having that thought to yourself of like, wow, like, is it really hard for people to disseminate like good, healthful content out there versus all the crap? And the fact is that no, it's not easy for people. We're all in this spot because many of us, I spent 6 years in school for this, countless certifications. A lot of you are in the same boat, or you're constantly, seeking out, those gold standard leaders and mentors in the field and getting continuing education. Your clients aren't. You're the outlet for that information. So step number 2, like, find out what your members care about. Because I guarantee you, if you have a list of 10 things that you care about in health, your members list is going to have a couple things that are the same, but it's going to have things that you have not even considered because you're not where they were anymore. So correct. You've already, you're not just the hobbyist. It's a part of your life. You're in a different rabbit hole. You're on a different level, technique wise, interest wise, health wise, going towards that optimal status. Usually everyone else, tends to fall in a different boat. So it's asking yourself, I think, sometimes very simple questions that are easy to overlook. Like, what are the real barriers that are keeping even members from making it to the gym every day? So then those so those barriers are also keeping prospects from even signing up for your gym. Mm-hmm. So things are intimidating for people. Identifying maybe what's intimidating to them. Really looking at, even some of your members that really bought in. I bet you their first week, they were deers and headlights and like, oh, I don't know. I don't know if I can like do this. So going back to some of those things and really thinking about, why do people join? How have they really benefited from you as a unique coach or your gym? A lot of CrossFit boxes, strength and conditioning, anything that has kind of that global kind of brand with it, you guys do a great job of celebrating the brand. But one thing that I try to help my clients on is, I don't want you to sell CrossFit. I want you to sell J3 Athletics. Or shout out to James, who's getting ready to open his affiliate. Or, I want you to sell CrossFit identity. Or I want you to go out there and sell you. So how are you uniquely going to bust these barriers for people? How are you going to motivate your members by digging into the things that they care about? What do they need help with to be successful? Because that is such a missing piece from content. Because if you are really creating content from your authentic voice to help them, like, blog topics are going to start writing themselves. Video content is going to start writing itself. Movement tips, nutrition tips. Like I'm telling you, you go to places to get your content for you. You need to be the place that gives them what they need. And like, I'm telling you guys, this is a game changer when it stops being about I and it starts being about them.
100%. I was actually at a seminar this past weekend in Chicago. Shout out to Angelo at O'Hare, put out a killer summit for his team. It's like his annual coach development program. And anyway, there was a gentleman out there who was breaking down, Zach Forrest, breaking down, how people coach. And one of the things he had said was, think about it this way. When you're teaching someone new, the goal is not to just, parrot the technical jargon that you've learned. Like, here's what I'm looking for, triple extension, when they're like, I don't even know what you mean when you say squat. Which one is that again? Is that where I bend over or when I sit down? And it's like, use language that they're going to use cues that they're going to understand. Speak to them in a way that they can actually hear you so that you can actually get the result that you want for them, right? Mm-hmm. Same thing comes to how you're speaking through your content, subjects, the language you're using, and how the perspective you're taking on it needs to honor who they are and where they actually are in their journey, because they're not on that side of the camera, that you're the one who runs the gym. You're the one who is running programs and not, shopping around for a gym. This is your obligation as a gym to help as many of the people who are a good fit for you as possible. So talk to them in a way that they can actually hear you and feel like they're understood, which is only going to make everything easier for you, right? Because they're like, oh, she really gets us. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's because you're paying attention to where they're at and using language and topics and things that are going to resonate with them. So I think such a powerful thing, once you've identified the voices, to make sure that you're carrying it through and addressing the concerns and the unspoken objections that, if you even ask a few of your clients, especially your favorite clients, where you're like, hey, you're like a perfect representation of the kind of person who maybe thought that this wasn't a good fit and is now like an ambassador of our community. Ask them, what were your biggest fears when you were getting started? Ask them, what intimidated you? What could have scared you off? What did we do or say that really resonated with you? And interview a few people and get the actual language, get the actual talking points, and then use that to your advantage. That is gold for creating content.
And you said programming when you were talking about all those great points, which also got me thinking, like, I don't know how many times I've said to my coaches or to clients that I work with and stuff like that, people don't know what programming is.
Right.
Which is why I think every one of us has made the mistake once or twice early on of including a question in one of the surveys we send out every year. What are some other things you'd like to see in class? And then you realize that you get 80 responses of like, we need more barbell, we need less barbell, we need more running, we need less running, we need more. And you're like, oh, what did I do? Like, I just opened up, because they don't have the background that you have. They don't know what programming is. And frankly, like, some of them don't care, and that's fine.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter at all. No. Are they having fun, and is it working? Exactly.
Because I say to my coaches and my clients all the time that people could technically go a slew of places. And some of you out there, your locations are much more saturated than others. I'm telling you, they could go a lot of places for a workout that leaves them sweaty and makes them think, yep, that was a great workout. It could be a place that makes them do burpees every day. It could make them run every day. It could make them do so many things that, yeah, it leaves them sweaty and they're thinking, yep, I got a kick-ass workout. Okay. You know why your place is unique and keeps them balanced and has good sound programming. But if we don't connect with them on that other level, they may never really see how great your programming is or why the workouts there are so much different, because some people they don't have the capacity to dig in. I take my stuff to get my taxes done because, I hate doing that stuff. He can explain to me everything he wants. And I'm kind of like, yeah, dude, I come here, you do the stuff, and I leave. That's why I pay you. A lot of your members are going to be that way. Like I show up here so I don't have to think about it. You tell me what to do. I leave. I'm stronger. I'm losing weight. I'm sweaty when I leave. I'm happy. Boom. I have no reason to leave. I love this place. And so it's not dumbing down what you do. It's just making it more approachable. And, you know, thinking about things like that.
Yeah. A lot of people, I think that especially those that are really, deep diving on, program design and really building something that, for the coach's coach, we would be like, yeah, that was a solid progression you put together, or that, that cycle was really solid. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter to them at all. What did it work? Did I have fun? And, did I feel like I was a part of a community? And, it's so much simpler to most. So anyway, so step one was identify your authentic voice. Step two is identify what your ideal client cares about.
Yes.
What's step three?
Okay, step three is by far my favorite part because now you get to be creative. So going back to that, like disseminating yourself, differentiating. We'll talk about disseminating content in a second. Differentiating yourself from the competition is, this isn't like, okay, everybody's doing movement tips now, so I need to start doing movement tip videos. Or everybody's doing these. Member spotlights. Like, yep, I guess I'll send out some questions to someone. They'll talk about their favorite color and their favorite movement, and I'll do a spotlight. No. This is where you tie in steps 1 and 2 together. And you're like, okay, I have a real opportunity here to have some fun. And if you're not going to enjoy the process a little bit, it's going to make it a lot harder, especially for a lot of you that are like, cameras are scary. I don't think that I can do this. So it's starting small, but it's thinking of like, okay, what's a unique video series that I can do, I could create that helps my members and my prospects by going, back to steps 1 and 2, really thinking about what they care about. And then it identifies and connects with me for my coaching philosophy. So I could really help them. And then you can branch it out from there, because then you can create maybe 2 to 3 video series. And what I mean by video series, it's something that you can keep coming up with content that's like new and fresh, but still within the video series all the time. And it's something that you can keep up with. So we've seen it all the time. You start posting something and then it's good for like a couple months. And then it used to be weekly. And then now it's like once a month. And then, oh God, it's been like a couple months. I haven't even posted anything. That's where engagement can kind of be difficult, because if you're not staying true to, what you say you're going to offer, that's where people kind of fall off and no longer participate. Okay. I did a live Q&A on Sunday nights for my members. And there were some weeks when it was like, at my house and I was doing the best that I could. And it's like, even if, only 3 or 4 people watched, they knew that they had access to me, and that's what it is. And now it's taken on a whole different persona by itself. And we're getting, into discussions and stuff like that about getting ready to turn it into a podcast. And we go to the grocery store in the community and people are like, oh my God, I know you. And I'm like, oh God. I'm like, let me guess. And they're like, you're on Q&A. Like, you guys are ridiculous. And I'm like, yeah, we're just insane. And like, we're just trying to have fun and be different. But it's that, like, be creative to you. So, you don't have to be the comedian. You don't have to be the technician, but it's, finding out what is something unique to you that you can create and put your own spin on. Because I don't want you to just recreate something that other people are doing, because there's, your mind is different than somebody else's. So figuring out a video series that you can keep up with. And then when you start branching out from there, it's a blog posting schedule. It's a daily posting schedule that you can stick with. So, not doing too much too soon. What can you stick with and be consistent, just like you would with your workouts or your food? If it's not realistic to set you up for success and be consistent with it, then it's not going to be done as well as it needs to be done. So maybe, you give yourself a goal of 2 times a week, I'm going to stick to this theme. or whatever it is. But it's setting yourself up for success, and then having a day where you really plan out like the creative side of things, because just like you take time out to program or to discuss those really important things, this is, really important, because, there's what price would you put on keeping members happy or giving things that help them and coach them outside of class that also is bringing new people in. Because when I ask my clients that, I'm like, okay, so then you're not interested in growing the gym. They're like, oh, whoa, I am. I'm like, okay, well then why aren't we creating content? Why aren't we, that's the long-term solution. We just talked about the big downfall of an ad or the 6-week challenge. And it's, those are quick fixes, which are necessary sometimes, but it's you speaking that authentic voice, getting a little creative, stepping out of your comfort zone, which isn't that what you're asking your members to do every time they come in the gym? Mm-hmm. Is like, this is crucial for long-term success. I cannot put a price on the fact that we didn't run any Black Friday specials this year. I didn't run any last year. I don't have any New Year's like specials like really planned, stuff like that. And that's just kind of like a loose term of when you get to a place where authentically you're reaching people, you learn that you're running a business that's way different than just that quick sale. And it's a game changer. It's an absolute game changer.
Yeah, to clarify, we're not knocking advertising. Advertising is a crucial part of this.
Yeah.
But you learn how to use it correctly rather than being dependent on it. A lot of people think like, oh, I know I need to be I need more leads. I need more members, or I need more members. Therefore, I need more leads and more opportunities. And like, yes, that makes sense. And that's where advertising or these challenges can be really good opportunities. You just have to embrace them for what they are and understand that it's a numbers game, and that the ratios probably aren't what you imagine that they may be, or what you would like them to be. You're probably going to have to talk to more people and let more people try out than you normally would just through your evergreen intro session offer, for example. Mm-hmm. But the goal here with your content and this strategy that we're breaking down today is the organic conversations and the organic marketing. It does not happen overnight. It doesn't even happen in a month or 3 months. It takes consistency for a long period of time for you to build up that voice within your community and to refine what you're saying and how you're saying it and get your message down and really make this something that is flowing naturally through you. You've built an audience, people are paying attention. And that's where you're going to then start getting to a point to where, like you just said, the advertising factor starts being a lot more focused and used really more as just an accelerator at key points when you're like, okay, look, we're going to be talking about this. We're going to be launching a new nutrition program. You should have months of organic content that's built around that, leading into that, that's through this type of medium before you get to end to just accelerate it, get it in front of a bunch of people because you've been grooming an audience and conditioning an audience to pay attention and care about that subject. So just keep that in mind as we're going through this. This is evergreen. This is about really building the voice for your gym. This isn't something you do and tomorrow you're going to have 10 more leads. This is just like you telling your members like, hey, you know how there isn't one meal you're going to eat that's going to make you lose the 20 pounds. It's you not eating like shit every single day, 3-5 meals a day. And it's the practicing of the little details over and over. And that's the equivalent with this. It's, showing up 5 days a week for a year. That's going to get you strong and healthy and happy, and having lost the weight and it actually staying gone. Same thing with your marketing, guys. It's doing this day in and day out and starting small and being realistic. You wouldn't have someone who's brand new coming in who's like, hey, I have had troubles falling off of every nutrition and training program I've ever tried. And you're like, perfect. I want to see you 6 days a week. We're going to weigh and measure all of your food. They're going to fail. So set yourself up for success here too. If you're not comfortable with this and you're like, man, getting in front of a camera is my worst nightmare. Like, I get it. I've had this conversation countless times, and it is just a matter of start small, make it real. And once you discover how to be yourself and be okay with that, then all of a sudden it gets really easy, really fast. And you realize like, oh, I'm looking forward to sharing this because I feel like I'm just being myself. Do you have any good, go ahead.
I was just say, well, people appreciate that. Like,
right. They can tell.
They appreciate, it's like, and they appreciate something that's not overproduced. Right. Or like if you flub on some words, or, if the lighting's not always perfect, or, you share your own struggles and stuff like that. Like people appreciate that because it's real and it's approachable. And gyms are not traditionally approachable. And so, that it's, don't be afraid to kind of make mistakes, because that's being real with people, and it's super powerful. And I know, and Marcus was saying, yeah, it's not knocking advertising, because like this is advertising. It's just the same way people are like, oh, like I get really bad at selling. Like I love the intro process right up until I have to talk about membership prices or sell something. And I'm like, but we're selling health. So I'm selling health in every video that I'm doing. I'm just being real about it. I'm using my passion, my knowledge to sell health. There may not be a call to action at the end of it. It's just the way that you look at it. Any trainer out there could give an exercise prescription. That's selling. Selling doesn't have to be sleazy. It doesn't have to be forcing someone into something. It's educating. And use these videos as a way to educate your community and show them that you're here. Like you're here to help. You're here when they're ready. Like it's not a pressure sale. I'm here to just get people healthy. If I can reach people outside of Nebraska, that's what got me, hanging out with Marcus and stuff like that. That's what, led me to even doing coaching through Gymwright. It's, I'm just going to put out stuff out there to help people. And whether, you want to look at it as like, like selling or not, you're still selling the aspect of a healthier life. And if that's at the forefront of what you're doing, oh Lord, it just makes all this easier. Like shoulders come down, like, oh, I can talk about that stuff all day long. So, don't forget that we're just trying to sell somebody the chance to live a more high quality life than maybe what they have right now.
Awesome. So could you give us some examples of some like video series themes that you've either seen, you've done yourself, or you've had clients do that you feel are kind of some good starting points to kind of spark some creative juices for some of the listeners?
Yeah. One video series, I'm using this as an example. It gets great engagement. And it's worked really well. For us is my at home and on the go workout series. And it basically was there to try to take some intimidation factor out of the gym, because all of the workouts that I create are no equipment, or maybe like using a bench or like an ab mat or something if somebody has something at home. But it's just really connecting with people on, okay, so you didn't make the gym today, or you're traveling like for the holidays, or you just had a baby, or your kid's sick and you can't leave the house, but they take a nap. You can still have a chance to get a workout in. And it was identifying a huge barrier that I think a lot of people have. And that it's like, okay, realistically, 3 to 4 days is considered a lot for somebody to go in the gym. And so this was giving them access, I guess, to me as a coach or some workouts. And I have people that are like, I've done every one of your at-home workouts. I kind of use it as a way to boost my confidence to then come in and join the gym. Or members. And actually it spawned from that. Members were like, can I take you with me when I go out of town? Like, can you write me some workouts? And I was like, you know what? Like there's something there. So I made an ebook to start. And then it's like a monthly video series, and they're on the blog, and now it's scalable. So they can take me with them, and it's members, they go to the blog, they do the workouts, and then they're like, oh yeah. And just like you said in the video, I adapted it to the equipment I had so I could make it, a little bit more challenging. And so that's a great kind of less intimidating way to already allow somebody to look at you as a coach. And engage and keep your members healthy, because retention, if you're keeping them active when they're gone, it's making them able to come back to the gym because they didn't take 2 weeks off. And then it's helping them keep that habit. Something else, like some fun things that I've seen from some other members, shout out to like Heidi and Devin in Huntsville, Alabama. They just moved there and they're really kind of knocking it out of the park with, it's kind of this like good cop, bad cop. Heidi's got her ideal clients and she's, super bubbly, and Devin is hilarious, even though he's not meaning to be. And he's big guy, big tattoos, like super intimidating, strong man stuff. Like, really wants to help out with like, military and police and, that type of clientele. So, they recently just opened and I'm like, once a week, I want one of you to do a video for you and one of you to do a video on you. I was like, I don't even care what it's about, but you're helping your person. And it's like this juxtaposition of, it's really showing off both of them. And they like, in each video opens up with bloopers. Like Devin was juggling lacrosse balls and like he like threw behind him. And then it cut, to the little intro they made and then the actual video. Like that's just like fun stuff where it doesn't even have to start off super structured. It's just, I'm going to try and then I'm going to run with it. So.
Yep. Awesome. Very good. And by the way, guys, we have some tools for you guys to download that Missy helped put together, which are, for one, we have a sample calendar, or content schedule, which makes it super, super easy. Literally, we've laid out an entire month worth with sample daily themes. So you can literally just replace the themes with your own theme if you like, or if you're like, hey, I'm not feeling that creative, you can literally just take it for what it is and follow this exactly, and you will already look like a pro. The second piece being the actual step-by-step. So we went through the 3 different steps on how to actually do this and like develop the content. Step 1, identify your authentic voice. Step 2, identifying what your ideal client cares about. And then step 3, putting together 3 creative ways that actually disseminate the content and speak this voice, which we're going to put in, I'll link to it in the comments here shortly after we get off live today. And again, this is courtesy of Missy, and our team put this together for you guys so that you guys can all take this and roll it out in your gyms and all that. So anyway, anybody who's on have any questions you guys want to run by Missy that we can address directly for you guys, put them in now. That way we can get to them. I know there's always a little bit of a delay between when we ask and when they actually pop up here on our screen. So I'll put that out there now so people can start putting them in. But Missy, so for the person who says, okay, now I've got basic video series in place, like what is, I guess, how would they take this and begin? Because I know there's a lot of, what are some of the common fears or objections you get from people as to why they won't start this, or like whatever reasons they've tried this in the past and it didn't work. What kind of encouragement can you give to the person who's like maybe a little hesitant to get started?
Yeah, it also boils down a lot to, what was it like day one when you opened the gym? It likely, wasn't a rockin' happening place. I mean, I drove in day 2, not a single person showed up, for the 5:30 a.m. class. And I was like, awesome. And now I'm going to drive home and go back to bed and wake up and do this all over again. And it was like, I found myself, even like 3-4 days later, like you're driving in, and it was all that emotion built up of like getting the space ready and all this stuff and knowing that nobody is going to be there, but I have to drive there in the dark early in the morning just in case. And so it's kind of the same kind of passion. You're going to put videos out there and you're going to look back at them and be like, really? Outfit choice? That's nice. Or like, that's what I talked about. Like, man, I could think of like so many other things. Or you're like, good, 2 people liked it. Awesome. Like nobody did anything. It's the same thing as staying true to the passion when you walked into that gym and nobody was there because you had a vision for something. And it's kind of that, if you build it, they will come thing. But if you're staying true to some of the stuff that we talked about in the steps, or, really speaking, it may take a second for that voice to get to the right ears, or for the right people to start stumbling upon it. But then it's kind of that waterfall effect that stay motivated. Staying motivated the same way that you felt maybe the first day you did CrossFit, and now you're a coach and you're running a CrossFit affiliate on your own. And maybe you're, training for your level 2. Like, that didn't happen overnight. And so it's that same motivation you would give to someone that, I'm never getting a muscle up. I can't even do push-ups, for God's sakes. Stuff like that, that it's a layering effect, and that it's completely normal to have some days where it's I have a joke that one of these days we're going to put out like a blooper reel of all my bloopers on videos, because we plan out one day a month to just go in for like an hour and a half, hash out a bunch of videos so that we're always ahead of the game. And I'm the creative free spirit. Like, Sundays, I forget, even though it's on the schedule, and my husband runs a little tighter ship, and he'll be like, no, like, you have to go film today. We have to send these in. He's my deadline person. So he's like, he does my books. So he's my behind the scene, like, nope, we need to do this. And I'll be lying to you if,
I'm not sure, Missy. I may have lost you here. Looks like your line might have frozen up, but all good. Well, I'll give that a second here to see if that catches back up. Happening a little bit sometimes, but no big deal. Again, guys, I'm going to put into the comments here shortly after. We're just going to put the sample content schedule as well as the step-by-step content development guide. So you guys can download this and check it out and apply it in your gyms right away. Anyway, nonetheless, it looks like we may have lost Missy. Funky connection, but it's all good. It's the day after a holiday. It's a holiday weekend. So anyway, I'll go ahead and cut it off then here. I want to thank Missy for being on the show today. Thank you so much for what you shared with us today. And we'll look forward to seeing you guys again next week. Have a great rest of your Thanksgiving weekend. We're grateful for all of you, and we'll see you guys next Friday. Bye-bye.